Picture this. You walk into a major U.S. airport in the middle of summer expecting chaos, but it's strangely calm. No packed terminals, no long lines, just empty chairs and delayed flights. What if the reason isn't staff shortages or bad weather? What if Americans just aren't flying like they used to? From Las Vegas to Miami, tourism is slipping. International visitors are choosing other destinations, and locals are staying nearby. These massive travel hubs, built to handle millions, are beginning to feel deserted. Here are 10 reasons airports all over the country are getting quieter, and why that may not change anytime soon. Number 10. Soaring ticket prices are keeping travelers grounded. When did flying turn into something only the lucky can afford? A round trip from Chicago to Miami used to be under $200. Now, you're lucky to find it under $400, and that's before extra costs. Add in baggage, seat choices, and maybe a snack, and you're left wondering if staying home is the better deal. Families are looking at these prices and simply opting out. It's not that they've lost interest in travel, they've lost access to it. For a family of 4, flying anywhere means spending over $1,000 before even reaching their destination, and that's just the beginning. Add hotels, meals, local travel, it adds up fast. That's why more people are saying, maybe next year. It's not just long trips either. Even a short hop between nearby states used to be easy and cheap. Now it takes budgeting, planning, and even stress. Airlines blame everything from rising fuel to labor shortages. And some of that is real, but the result is the same. Air travel used to be part of summer. Now it feels like a luxury few can justify. So what are people doing instead? They're staying in. They're driving. They're skipping vacations entirely. And every time someone decides not to fly, a seat stays empty. Multiply that across the country, and it's easy to see why so many airports feel like they're fading away. Money just isn't stretching like it used to. Inflation has driven up the cost of nearly everything: gas, groceries, rent, electricity, and when everyday life gets more expensive, vacations are usually the first thing cut. People are crunching the numbers. That hotel room that used to be $120 a night, now it's going for $180. A simple $15 lunch? That's now almost $30 once tax and tip are added. Parking, entry fees, car rentals, it all piles up fast. What was once a fun getaway now feels like a risky financial move. For families, it's even tougher. Feeding 4 people at a popular tourist spot? Easily $100 just for lunch. Toss in tickets to a zoo, museum, or amusement park, and by mid-afternoon, they're already hundreds of dollars in. And the reality? Wages haven't kept pace. Many people are earning the same or only slightly more than they did a few years ago, but their bills have soared. So when it comes down to catching up on expenses or spending on a vacation, most play it safe. They stay home. Even frequent travelers are hitting the brakes. They're skipping summer breaks, cutting back on holiday travel. Some are even canceling pre-booked trips just to save a little cash. And every canceled vacation has ripple effects. The plane still takes off, but with an empty seat. The hotel keeps running, but the room goes unused. The airport opens its gates, but fewer people walk in. Inflation didn't just raise the cost of travel. It made the idea of travel feel out of reach. And that's a major reason why so many airports, once packed and lively, now sit strangely quiet. Number 8. International tourists are passing on the U.S. Why are travelers from around the globe choosing to skip America? People once dreamed of visiting iconic spots like New York City, Los Angeles, the Grand Canyon, or Disney World, often saving for years to make it happen. But lately, that dream is slipping away. One major reason? Visas. In many countries, getting a tourist visa for the U.S. now takes forever. In places like India, South Africa, or parts of South America, people are waiting over a year, sometimes up to 500 days, just to land an interview. That's not a delay, it's a roadblock. Many give up and choose easier destinations. Then there's the uncertainty. Entry requirements keep shifting. Some visitors arrive unsure if they need new forms, extra proof, or what kind of questioning they'll face at the border. Add to that the stories of long immigration lines and random secondary inspections, and the whole process starts to feel like a roll of the dice. But the challenge isn't just paperwork. It's also how America is perceived. International headlines don't just cover landmarks. They show protests, gun violence, and political chaos. While most of the U.S. is safe and welcoming, what the rest of the world sees often looks chaotic and risky. So now global travelers are making different choices. A German couple might book Japan instead. A Brazilian family might fly to Spain. Even Canadians who used to flock to Florida every winter are now spending their holidays in Mexico or Portugal. Each skipped visit means fewer hotel bookings, fewer shopping bags, and fewer Uber rides. It all adds up. And when millions of visitors make the same decision, it's no surprise that once bustling, U.S. airports now feel more like abandoned malls than international gateways. Money just isn't stretching like it used to. Inflation has driven up the cost of nearly everything: gas, groceries, rent, electricity, and when everyday life gets more expensive, vacations are usually the first thing cut. People are crunching the numbers. That hotel room that used to be $120 a night, now it's going for $180. A simple $15 lunch? That's now almost $30 once tax and tip are added. Parking, entry fees, car rentals, it all piles up fast. What was once a fun getaway now feels like a risky financial move. For families, it's even tougher. Feeding 4 people at a popular tourist spot? Easily $100 just for lunch. Toss in tickets to a zoo, museum, or amusement park, and by mid-afternoon, they're already hundreds of dollars in. And the reality? Wages haven't kept pace. Many people are earning the same or only slightly more than they did a few years ago, but their bills have soared. So when it comes down to catching up on expenses or spending on a vacation, most play it safe. They stay home. Even frequent travelers are hitting the brakes. They're skipping summer breaks, cutting back on holiday travel. Some are even canceling pre-booked trips just to save a little cash. And every canceled vacation has ripple effects. The plane still takes off, but with an empty seat. The hotel keeps running, but the room goes unused. The airport opens its gates, but fewer people walk in. Inflation didn't just raise the cost of travel. It made the idea of travel feel out of reach. And that's a major reason why so many airports, once packed and lively, now sit strangely quiet. Number 6, local getaways are replacing cross-country trips. Why take a long flight when a short drive feels simpler, cheaper, and way less stressful? More and more travelers are skipping cross-country vacations and sticking close to home. Instead of flying to a distant city, they're exploring nearby state parks, small towns, scenic lakes, or roadside attractions just a couple of hours away. And it makes sense. Local trips are more affordable, easier to plan, and a whole lot less chaotic. No airports, no long security lines, no worries about checked bags or flight delays. You just pack up, hit the road, and maybe be home before the weekend ends. For a lot of people, that scratches the travel itch without draining their savings. With travel becoming more tiring and expensive, quick escapes are winning out over big, complicated vacations. A cozy cabin, a nearby beach, or even a staycation at a fancy hotel in town suddenly sounds better than catching a flight to another state. And it's showing in the numbers. National travel is slowing down fast. Cities that once thrived on summer tourists, like San Francisco, New Orleans, or Boston, are seeing fewer visitors than they used to. Airports that were once packed with energy are now running quieter than expected. Meanwhile, regional spots are booming. Small towns are dealing with unexpected crowds, while major travel hubs are feeling the drop. It's not that people stop traveling, they've just changed how they do it. But while local spots are thriving, national tourism and the big airports that depend on it are taking the hit. Fewer flights, quieter terminals, and slower traffic. It's all part of the shift. And for America's largest airports, it's yet another reason why things are starting to slow to a crawl. Number 4, airlines are quietly pulling the plug on routes. Why are entire cities slowly vanishing from airline schedules? It's not making headlines, but behind the scenes, airlines are scaling back. They're trimming flight schedules, dropping once regular routes, and pulling service from smaller cities altogether. And when that happens, once busy airports start to go silent. Some towns that used to have non-stop flights to major hubs no longer do. Travelers in mid-sized cities now find themselves driving hours to reach a bigger airport just to catch a basic flight. And for many, that extra step is a deal breaker. The trip gets canceled before it even begins. The cuts often come quietly. One day, a route exists. The next, it's gone. Airlines blame low demand, fuel costs, or a shortage of pilots. And while those reasons may hold up on paper, the effect on travelers is very real. Smaller airports are seeing fewer passengers. Local jobs tied to aviation, ticket agents, baggage handlers, shuttle drivers, start to vanish as traffic disappears. Even major airports feel the pressure. When a route gets cut, it affects everything. Connections become harder. A simple two-leg trip now requires 3 flights and possibly an overnight layover. That kind of hassle makes people rethink their plans or cancel them completely. Meanwhile, airlines are focusing more on high-demand routes, mainly between large cities or international destinations. Everyone else left out. In many cases, it's not that people don't want to travel, they just don't have the option anymore. The routes are gone, the connections are broken, and getting from point A to point B is harder than ever. Cutting flights may help airlines save money short-term, but long-term, it's another reason terminals across the country are going quiet. Seats go unfilled, gates sit empty, and once busy airports slowly fade into silence. Number 3, America's reputation is hurting tourism. Has the dream of visiting the U.S. turned into a global hesitation? For decades, the United States was seen as the ultimate destination. Vibrant cities, national parks, Hollywood freedom. But lately, that image has started to crack, and people around the world are paying attention. News stories of school shootings, political unrest, and random violence now travel just as fast as travel ads. And while most of the U.S. remains safe and welcoming, perception matters. Travelers abroad are asking themselves, is it worth the risk? Will I feel safe? Will I be welcome? It only takes a little doubt to change plans. A family in the UK may decide to skip LA and head to Tokyo. An Australian couple might cancel their New York visit and choose Paris instead. Even travel influencers are shifting gears, fewer selfies in Times Square. More content from places like Portugal, Thailand, or Croatia. The numbers back it up. International bookings to the U.S. are dropping in key regions. Some foreign airlines are cutting back on flights to American cities. Tourist hotspots like theme parks and outlet malls are seeing fewer global visitors. This isn't about politics, it's about perception. And right now, America feels unstable to many outsiders. That tension may not reflect everyday life for most Americans, but it's enough to steer tourists elsewhere. And when international travelers stop coming, the effects are immediate. Less spending, fewer crowds, quieter terminals. The U.S. didn't just lose tourists. It lost the magic that once drew them here. Number 1, tourism might be changing for good. What started as a slow season or a temporary dip now feels like something much bigger, a long-term shift in how people travel. The old habits? They're not coming back. People aren't taking the same kinds of vacations. They're not booking the same way. And they're not chasing the same experiences. Travel has evolved, but America's tourism industry hasn't fully kept up. Remote work gave people more flexibility. Inflation made them more cautious with spending. Frustrating airport experiences nudged them toward easier, less stressful alternatives. And once travelers discovered that better, cheaper, and more enjoyable options exist elsewhere, they started building new habits. That's the real story. It's not just about empty terminals or fewer flights. It's about travelers quietly moving on. And that shift affects everything. Airlines can't rely on old flight paths. Cities can't count on the same waves of tourists. And hotels can't charge top dollar expecting to fill every room. What once felt predictable now feels uncertain. Tourism boards that spent years promoting their cities as must-see destinations are now asking the hard question. What do people actually want now? Because clearly it's not another overpriced room next to a packed airport. And if that's the case, the entire system, airports, airlines, destinations, and the people working in them will need to adapt fast. If travelers aren't coming back the way they used to, America might have to start earning their return. People today are more thoughtful about where they go, how they spend, and what kind of experience they get in return. If the U.S. wants to stay competitive, it needs more than just cheaper tickets. It needs better service, smarter systems, and real reasons to come back. Maybe this is just a pause. Maybe the crowds will return. But if it's not, if this really is the start of something new, then the future of American tourism won't be decided by airlines or airport executives. It'll be shaped by everyday people, one decision at a time. And that decision? It's already being made. Have you noticed fewer crowds when you fly? Are you skipping trips more often? Let us know in the comments. What's changed for you?